I want to piggyback off of the video I made, multiple videos I made about, forgiving your parents, and not just forgiving them, but making peace with them, right? I was just thinking about the Spider-Man, the first original Spider-Man, when it was him, his Aunt May, and his uncle. His uncle was, just like his father. And the thing that I was thinking about was, when his uncle was, got assaulted and robbed, and he saw him in the street, I guess, first he noticed the car, and as soon as he noticed the car and the whole crowd, it just leads you to, it leads you to the worst case scenario. So his mind was just rushing, so he rushed through the crowd, and they tried to stop him, and he's like, "That's my uncle," and he pushed them out the way and ran to him. And good thing he got to him before he, took his last breath, because prior to that, when he was just dropped off at the wrestling ring, him and his uncle got into a heated argument, and Peter Parker said some things he didn't mean, and it always happens like that. You never know how long you have with someone, so that's why you should always keep the peace, right? Even if it's, even if you guys aren't talking, or you're not, like how it used to be, at least make sure it's peaceful. So whenever things do transpire, and it comes a time where, like I said, when I hugged my grandmother, I didn't know that that was the last time that I was ever going to hug my grandmother. And a month later, on her birthday, she passed away. She got up, and I was thinking about this at work, thinking about, all that stuff. And I was thinking that maybe she got up thinking that I was there, Maybe she stayed around as long as she did, so she could look out for me. But just like my mother, going into the spirit world, you could look out for me a lot more, and you will have a lot more strength and a lot more freedom to do anything you want to do. And I always pray that they're happy. I always pray that they're having the best afterlife. I always pray that they, fulfill everything that they wanted to fulfill. That's the stuff that I pray for when I pray for my ancestors, and I pray for the light beings that's here and anywhere that has life, in anywhere that is, has life existing. I don't pray to ask for favors or anything like that. If I ask for anything, is that I would just ask for I would ask the universe and the children of light to share y'all energy with me, because sometimes, just like Goku, you can't defeat that enemy without the help of your loved ones. And Goku always won those fights and those battles, getting the power and getting the love from the people around him and from his family members and his loved ones. So that's exactly why I say we work together apart, right? I pray for y'all all the time. Like I said, if I'm not speaking, delivering a video, I'm in thought, and when I'm in thought, I'm in prayer, because I'm very careful with the way that I think. And I told y'all long ago, be careful with the way that you think, and be careful what you think, because the universe is always listening. You might not think the universe is hearing you talk bad about yourself, and you talk bad about how everything is always this and everything is always that, and it's always a problem, and you're always looking for pessimistic ways to make your day bad, or every time something happens in the day, you go towards that negative mindset, and it starts a negative self-talk. Just because you're talking about something else, you might not be talking about yourself, but no matter what you say out of your mouth, your brain perceives it as you talking to yourself. Even if you're literally having a conversation or argument with somebody, if you give that person life, you'll be giving yourself life. If you give that person death and you curse that person, you'll be cursing yourself. That's why I say I don't send out curses. I don't waste my time with that stuff. We know from a long time ago, when we watched them fairy tale shows and them fairy tale cartoons, the witch is always the ugliest looking person in the show, right? And the queen is always the most beautiful person in the show, and the king is always the most beautiful person in the show, and the warlock or the wizard or whatever, they're always the most dirty looking motherfuckers in the show, right? Why? because they doing evil, right? When you do evil, it starts showing on your body. That's why I look the way I look. And I'm going to continue to be grateful for the strength that I have to know evil and to know the dark side and to know how to manage and how to control the dark side and command the dark side. And I know how to live and blossom and thrive and live and relish in the light, right? Because it's not going to stay light forever, but you got to know how to exist in the darkness. That's why I'm on here. So I'm teaching you how to exist in this world, which is darkness, because you are the light, which is coming into this dark world. And just because the sun is shining doesn't mean that it's always bright. And just because the moon is out and the sun isn't shining doesn't mean it's always dark. So you have to take that duality, right? You want to fight on the side of light, you're going to have to give up that dark shit. You're going to have to give up the way that you speak to yourself negatively. You're going to have to give up killing flies and killing rats and killing roaches and all this stuff like that. You're going to have, even if you do take a life of a bug or a natural animal, you're going to have to be aware and thoughtful, and you're going to have to follow the proper procedures when it comes to taking that life. You're going to have to take responsibility of that soul, because now that soul is in your hands, right? Remember I said, it doesn't matter what you do. If I fuck bitches or don't fuck bitches, if I fuck women or don't fuck women, everybody's still gonna get stitches, right? And that casket's still gonna get buried, even if there's nobody in it. And I told y'all motherfuckers a million times that I'm here to give the fucking devil stitches. I'm here to show y'all a nigga bleed, even if I never got stitches. I'm here to show you that a nigga's real. I'm the realest nigga on the internet. You got all these people out here lying and scheming and scamming just to get followers and subscribers, and they think that that little bit of money is gonna last forever, but ain't none of them retired yet. Can't none of them say, I just cashed out on this, or I just put a down payment on that, or I just linked up with this other person and now we doing this or we doing that. All that shit is just, they just taking trips with them money. That's all they can do with it. They can't do much with it, and they don't have the discipline to save it. That's the thing, right? People are so spoiled, and you know the spoiled ones from the unspoiled ones, right? I don't wear no fucking jewelry, right? I don't got no bunch of crystals. I might have my hair wrapped up, but that's for work. Most of the times I have my hair out, or I have it in a ponytail or whatever. I'm not fancy with it. I'm real with it. I'm raw with it, and I'm beautiful with it. I'm bold with it, and I'm gonna stay that way with it. And while I change, it's not gonna change the blueprint, right? I'm gonna change the curtains, right? I might put on some fresh clothes and decorate myself real quick, right? So I could look like some fresh ass Christmas curtains, right? But I'm still gonna be me. I could put on a fresh white tee and go help somebody dig up some fucking dirt, or plant a tree, or dig a trench in my white tee, even if it get dirty. Like I said, we coming out clean just to get dirty. We stepping out clean just to get dirty, because we nature, right? Nature don't worry about having a fucking fresh shower and a fresh bath, but I smell good. Even if I don't smell good, it's because I just got done sweating. It's because I just got done busting my ass. It's just because I just got done working out. It's because I just got done sweating. So my balls is sweating, so I gotta go wash my ass. But that don't mean that I stink. I don't put all that bullshit in my body. I might do it here and there, but it's not breakfast, lunch, and dinner, right? I told y'all, we used to get pizza every Friday because my dad would get paid. He would be able to have that extra money to get us a pizza and a soda, right? And we didn't get no 2-3 boxes of pizza. We got one large. I don't even know if we got more than one. Sometimes I don't even know if we got two, but I'm gonna say that we got two, right? Because my father would like to eat, and then my I wouldn't call her my stepmom because they wasn't married, but my father's woman, right? And her son was also living with us, so that was my stepbrother, right? So it was me, my sister, my stepbrother, my dad, and his woman. And every Friday we would get pizza, and we would be happy to get pizza every Friday. We would look forward to that pizza. Pineapple and pepperoni, yeah. What? With a little ketchup and mustard on it, yeah. But Thinking about that, man, I used to put ketchup and mustard on my motherfucking pizza, and I eat pizza. I don't even put ketchup and mustard on my pizza because I forgot about all that shit. Living with my sister definitely did a number on me, but I'm grateful for it because it made me wiser. It made me more disciplined. But you got to make sure that it's peaceful, especially if it's from you. You got to make sure that on your behalf, on your side, that everything is peaceful. There's no negative energy. There's no ill will, and hold on. Yeah, today is my aunt's birthday. I made a video for her. I'm going to post that video up right after I post this video. So you got to make sure you make peace. Because when I hugged my grandmother, I didn't know that was going to be the last time I ever even spoke to my grandmother, or hugged or touched my grandmother, or felt her embrace. And I believe when she got up on her birthday, before she laid back down and didn't get back up again, I feel like she got up because maybe she had a dream, or maybe she had a feeling that I was there, and she had to get up to make sure that I was okay. And when she realized that I wasn't there, and she wouldn't be able to hold me or to be there for me, that's when she decided that her work was done in the physical world. Because I tell you, I adapted her soul. And she definitely moves with me, and my mother, and my fathers, all of my mothers, all of my fathers, down to the first starseed, before the sun was even birthed in the sky. That's how long ago I could remember you and I. But that's okay. I'll save it for another day. I'm gonna end this story, this meditation, and say, I love you. I appreciate you. And it's all love and peace. Even though we can get dark, even though we can wage righteous war, we must keep the balance and keep that scale always tipping on the side of good and on the side of righteousness, so you never lose that anxious guilt feeling when you have to make a decision. So it makes you think a little bit more and make you be a little bit more aware when you're making a decision, instead of just jumping into something like how I used to just spontaneously just do. I'm still spontaneous, but I'm spontaneous with some more pizzazz. I'm spontaneous with a little bit more maturity, right? I still have my childish heart, but I have to protect my childish heart from this cruel world. It's gonna be times where I can let my heart go and let my heart run free, like being in a field and just running and not worrying about anything. But when you're at war and when you're busy and when you're working, you can't let that child come out to play, because you got to focus on doing your work now, and then you can play later. Once you get your work done, then you can go out and play. My father used to always make sure I get my work done before I play. Work now, play later, right? So I always did my homework. I did my homework in school. When I was finished with the lesson, I was always writing my notes. As soon as the teacher started talking, I was taking notes. Whatever the teacher wrote on that board, it came down. It was written down in my book. Why? Because we used to have open notes tests, and we used to have open book tests, open notes quiz and open book quiz. So if I'm dumb, I'm not gonna take notes. I'm gonna just worry about being on my phone, talking and all that shit. That's why I'm glad I wasn't spoiled with all this technology and all this stuff to make me feel like I'm better than anything else, or I'm better than this, or I'm better than that. It always made me feel like I have to work to get this stuff, because my father always told me, when you get a job, you can work for it and get it with your own money, because I don't have the money for it. My dad never had the money for it, right? He had the money for whatever we needed, but he didn't have the money for whatever we wanted. So I had to miss them trips. I had to miss them dances. I had to miss all of the stuff that all the children had that got to do, especially if it wasn't free and if it wasn't at the school. I had to miss it. I had to miss it. But I'm glad I wasn't spoiled with all that, all that stuff. So I spoiled myself with knowledge. I spoiled myself with whatever I could get my hands on, right? I couldn't get my hands on things. I couldn't get my hands on Jordans, Nikes, and all that, the fresh gear that everybody had. I couldn't get my hands on all that, right? I had friends where their parents went to go camp out to get them the Jordans that they wanted. Their parents went to go camp out to get them Jordans when them Jordans was dropping. And y'all know the times when them Jordans was dropping, and they was dropping like motherfuckers, right? So, and everybody was either skipping school, their parents was in line, or it was perfectly scheduled on the weekend where you don't have to miss school and you could go in there and get it. And you and your friends was camping outside the store for 12 hours just to get some shoes, 24 hours just to get some shoes. So I took my notes, and when the teacher started talking, I was writing and I was paying attention. So by the time I got home, I didn't have homework. All my homework was done because I took all my notes. All my notes was done. So whatever else I had to do, especially if we didn't have homework that day, my notes was done, and my dad didn't have to worry about all that stuff because it showed up in my report card, right? And whenever he did check my work, he saw that my work was done. I'm very thorough. I like to make sure that I don't have to answer any questions. And if there is any questions, it's probably oversight on the one that's asking the questions, and it's arrogance on the behalf of the one asking the questions, because I make sure that there would be no questions that need to be asked. If there is any questions asked, it might be a little bit more clarity, right? Sometimes I wouldn't show all my work because it would be like a small division problem or something like that, right? And you would just know, 5 and 5 can go into 20. How many times 5 can go into 20, right? You would know 2 and 1200, or 15 and 2500. You know how they would do it, but it would just be a habit, right? You do things repetitively, it becomes habit. You take enough notes, you study enough, and you do enough of the same thing over and over, it becomes redundant to a point where now you can be teaching. Now you can be the one tutoring, right? That's why you got people that can be able to tutor other students, because they already learned that stuff so quick, and they're quick learners, right? I'm a quick learner. I might not know it now, but give me a day, right? If it takes 2 weeks, give me a week. Right? Like Jay-Z said, difficult takes a day, impossible takes a week. I do this in my sleep. I sold kilos of what? So I guess I can sell CDs. I'm not a businessman. I'm a business man. Let me handle my business. Damn. Yeah. Handling business. I told y'all we got work to do. So we doing work. We putting in that work. People waking up. People rising up. The vibrations is going so high. Man, I feel like Prince riding around on his bodyguard back, like it's so packed in the club, everybody getting woke out here. The system's a dub.